welcome back to our blog. Today we're here with Steve Vaca from Home Standards, and he's going to walk us through a home inspection.
So Steve, I know my buyers, when they're buying a home, they have certain concerns, and one of the main concerns that I found is they're worried about the roof. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I find the very same thing. Folks, they come into a house, one of the most sensitive things they are about is water stains on the ceiling. Very careful about that. I mean, not only is it a pain to look at, but there's concerns with mold, concerns with wood rot, and then of course it's telling us that there's potential problems with the roof, which can be very expensive. So when I do an inspection, generally I start on the outside of a house. First thing I do is I start at the top and I work my way down. And so I'll get up on the roof and I'm looking for anything that might be of any sign of any concern. Quite often I walk the whole roof. Yeah, quite often I walk the whole roof and I'm looking for the age of the shingle, the conditions of the shingle, and seeing if there's anything that would alert me to the fact that there could be some concerns. And then I go inside, and then I'm looking at the underside of the ceilings to see if there are any leaks, and if there are, sometimes I get back up into the roof. I get up on the roof again, but the other thing I'm doing is I'm getting in the attic where I can see the underside of the sheathing. And there, regularly, I can find some mold up there. And the reason we have mold is because there's improper soffit ventilation up on the soffits, and we have improper ventilation up on the roof, which is again a very important part of the house's structure.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next thing.
Well, Steve, if there's concerns with water on the roof, then do we have concerns with water elsewhere in the house?
Oh, you know, that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, chasing down water concerns, because water is a homeowner's worst enemy when it comes right down to it. We can't live with it, without it, but living with it can sometimes be a real hassle if you don't pay attention to a house and stay on top of things. Like for instance, a kitchen sink. Quite often I'll get to a kitchen sink and I'll open under the sink, and what I do is I run all the fixtures in a house, and I often let them run for 2 or 3 minutes to see if we develop any leaks. And oftentimes there's a little leak down there that a lot of people don't even know is there.
Sure.
And then what you have, you come back to, you got potential mold, you got wood deterioration. Again, people don't like that. So that's one of the things in the bathrooms, the kitchen. All of the fixtures are checked to make sure they're operating well. Toilets, all the showers. Of course, showers, you got to check a lot of that because the shower surrounds can get water behind them, they can get soft. So it's just a case of going through and making sure everything works and is nice and tight.
Okay, great.
So when you get to the basement to start your inspection down here, what is it that you do to inspect the major appliances for the buyers?
Okay. Well, by the time I've worked my way down the basement, I have run all the plumbing upstairs quite often for 4 or 5 minutes. So all of the fixtures have been running, all of the drains are draining, all the toilets have been flushed. The reason I come down here last is I'm looking for any leaks coming from up here. And that's that's one reason I end up here last. And then in the basement, most of the information on the report is actually down here. What we're looking at in the basement is we're looking at the furnace, we're going to be testing the air conditioner, we're looking at the water heater, and we're also looking at the electrical. For instance, in this house, our electrical panel is right over there. And with the electrical, that's another major concern for homeowners, and for good reasons. I mean, you don't want a fire hazard. And I'm sorry to say that there's quite a few people who like to play weekend warrior with their electrical.
Sure.
You find things that are scary. And so that's what I want to do, is find those things for people. And so I'm looking for, in the basement, this is where you find people making joints and wrapping them with black tape and sticking them back behind something. That's what
You've seen it all, huh?
Yeah. Or my favorite is people have their electrical panel right there and they put their bathroom right next to the electrical. Bad idea. Yeah. So the electrical is a big thing that I look at. And when I do the electrical, I'm looking at the panel to make sure the panel is fit right, it's the right size. It is up, you know, it's not so ancient that we can't even open the door. We're looking to make sure that water isn't in the panel. You know, quite often water starts to come down the main stem, and you'll literally get water inside the panel, rusting out the inside of the panel. There's all kinds of things we want to look for. And so when I'm done with the electrical, the next thing I'm looking at is I'm walking around the perimeter of the basement looking for what everybody hates again, those darn water stains. And, you know, people are real good at putting that furniture right in that corner.
Right where there's probably some water
Yes,
stains.
yes. And so I don't move furniture, but I look behind quite a lot of things.
Sure.
And I can get a pretty good idea what's going on. And if I have to, I can take water, I can take moisture tests to see if there's any moisture in the wall. Also, most wall surfaces, if they get wet, they telegraph it through the years. They bow and they bend and they do all kinds of weird things. Even though you paint them, you can still tell they've been wet. And so if I do see a sign of moisture, then of course I'm trying to figure out how to keep that from happening. And most of the times it's just a simple case of improving the drainage on the outside. It's not thousands of dollars of repair. It's a little bit of time and a couple, maybe $100 worth of repair. But it's important for the people who move in to know that, so their basement doesn't get wet for them. And so now in the home inspection, we've kind of covered about everything. We've been to the roof, we've been through the interior of the house, we go through all the major appliances, so in a home inspection people can expect to know the age, the condition of their appliances. They find out about their plumbing, they find out about their electrical. In the basement they get an idea about drainage. So we pretty much try to give a pretty good overview of the house. And if folks have questions about cost, I can help them a little bit with that. And then we also have referrals if they need additional help, because I'm a general practitioner. I am not a licensed electrician, but I can say that doesn't look right. And then we can get a licensed electrician in there and make a final determination as to whether or not it should be done properly. And what I'll do at the end of that is I create a computer-generated report with a lot of photographs. I really try to use a lot of photographs to document where the concerns are, so it's easy for people to find, so people don't call me and say, what window is that has the bad wood on it? So, there's a picture that points right to that. And at the end of the report, there's a little summary that puts everything into a nutshell, so people can kind of see this house with a pretty quick, overview and get an idea of its condition.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks for coming back. If you have any questions, please contact Sheila or myself or Steve. The information is below. All right.
Get your home inspected!